Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the top 10 best small forwards in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. But before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 9,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. And first of all, let's start off with number 10, which is going to be, and I know this is probably low, I got to put Larry Bird at number 10. I legitimately do think there are 9 better small forwards in the game than this Larry Bird. He does still squeak onto the list, but you would think a guy with 25 Hall of Fame badges, the best all-around puffs, of any player on this list, you would think that they would be higher on this list, but there are reasons Larry's only number 10. So 6'9" is fine size. Hotspots are everywhere is great. His shooting badges are obviously incredible. Hoff bully. He's got really good defensive badges as well. Gold anchor, can get all his badges upgraded and comes with almost every badge in the game. But 80 driving dunk, 87 speed and excel. Shooting stats are incredible, but his release is mediocre. And while he is a great defender, and actually I do think his defense is probably the strongest aspect of the card, he's not that great offensively because his release is pretty mediocre. His movement is very mediocre. His slashing is very mediocre, and he does not feel quick with the ball in his hands. So he does not create much for himself, and he's not an elite shooter. All this card does is defend, and we have a lot of guys who can defend. Sure, he'll hit open, and sure, he'll green some lightlies and stuff because of all of his shooting badges, but his release is not that great, and he doesn't have dominant size, dominant slashing, athleticism, anything like that. He's just a really solid card, but I don't think he's all that amazing. At number 9, for example, we got Diamond Throw Bailey, who obviously stat and badge-wise is a much worse card than a Larry Bird, but he's much more complete, I feel like, than Larry because, number 1, his release is better than Larry's. Obviously, shooting badges are way worse, even if you add badges like Claymore and Guard up to him. He's got Hoff Quick First Step, Hoff Clamp Breaker, though, which are big badges. He's just as fast as Larry. Hoff Bully is 6'11" instead of 6'9" with a much better player build, and though his defensive badges and stats aren't as good, he still competes at a high level on the defensive end of the court, but he's much bigger. He's got a much better release that, even though he has worse shooting badges, makes him a more consistent shooter, at least in my personal opinion, and he's a much better slasher. 90 driving dunk, Hoff Clamp Breaker, Hoff Quick First Step, Hoff Vice Grip, Gold Limitless Takeoff, and Posterizer. Much better dunk animations, a really good release. He is just a better overall card animations-wise than Larry Bird, and I think that's a big thing that separates him, which is why I have him at number 9 and Larry at number 10. Paulo's a great card, and I have it at number 8. I think I might be a tiny bit low on Paulo, but I do value defense at the small forward position, and I don't think he has the dominantly elite release that kind of overlooks that defensive end of the court. Even though I do think he's a really good card, I can't put him higher than number 8. He is a great slasher with a 95 driving dunk, amazing finishing badges, Hoff Clamp Breaker, Pogo Stick, Rebound Chaser. Problem is no anchor, no challenger, no clamps, no glove. Those are 4 pretty key badges that he can't get. Does have Gold Quick First Step. He's a solid shooter and obviously a great slasher. He's got great size at 6'10". Pretty good movement with the MJ dribble style. Kobe escape, Steph behind the back, and a decent release. But don't think he's quite good enough, and because he's missing those key defensive badges, doesn't quite have an elite enough release for me to put him higher than number 8, but I do still think he's a great card. Luol Deng, who I have him really high at the shooting guard position, is number 7. I do prefer Luol at the shooting guard position. If you get him, I recommend playing him there, but if you'd rather play him at small forward, you can do that as well because he is 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan, so he's got great size. He's got the size to compete at the small forward position. Hotspots from everywhere outside the 3. 5 Hoffs include catch and shoot, challenger, clamps, glove, and menace. He's got Gold Limitless range, Gold Quick First Step, Clamp Breaker, Bailout, Break Starter, Anchor, Brick Wall, Interceptor, Chase Down Artist, Pick Dodger. Elite defensive stats, not just on the perimeter, but also on the interior. He's got good speed, good shooter, and good slasher with Gold Limitless Takeoff and Posterizer. That Limitless range badge that he has on Gold is big, and then he's also got a very good release, really good dribble style with the MJ dribble style. Donovan Mitchell size up, Lillard behind the back, giving him great sigs. He does a lot of things at a super high level on the court. Elite at the 2, still elite at the 3, although not quite as high on the list, and I do think he's the 7th best small forward in my team. Jonathan Isaac comes in at number 6. One of the best things about Jonathan Isaac is the fact that he's just an elite 3-and-D guy. He's 6'11" with a 7'2" wingspan, so he's got amazing size, really good shooter. 84 shot 3 isn't too crazy, his speed isn't too crazy, but he's an exceptional defender with really good defensive badges, has Gold Anchor, no brick wall, but that's okay. On a 6'11" guy with his defensive animations, he's a great defender. Gold Limitless Takeoff and Posterizer with solid slashing ability and a really good release. Now, you're going to want to add Break Starter, Bailout, Quick First Step to him to help him out on the playmaking side of things a little bit, and he doesn't have much in terms of SIGs, but he is an elite 3-and-D guy with a really good release and elite defensive ability as well as amazing size. Perfect 3-and-D small forward. Jonathan Isaac cards are great every year, and this year is certainly no different, which is why he's number 6. At number 5, going with Carmelo Anthony, who is a very different small forward than basically the vast majority of the other cards on this this list, and that's because he's not much of a defensive card. He doesn't have great defensive badges. He's only 6'8". Its defensive stats are mediocre. And defensive badges, like I said, are also pretty mid. But Hoff Limitless, Hoff Handles for Days, Hyperdrive, Killer Combos, Bully, Gold Limitless Takeoff, Gold Fast Twitch. Does not come with Posterizer, but that's all right. He is an incredible shooter and probably the second best primary ball handler at the small forward position. Maybe not quite as good of a primary ball handler as Luol Deng, I guess, but he's got a much better release. The key to Carmelo is running him next to a guy who can play the lock. Somebody like a Luol Deng at the 2, maybe a Dr. J or a Kobe or a Michael Jordan. One of those types of guys at the 2 who can play the lock, or even a Magic at the 1, is pretty key if you're going to run Carmelo, because as dominant as he is offensively with an exceptional, amazing, super fast, incredibly hard to contest release, normal leaner, MJ dribble style, Kobe escape, good size up, really good dunk animations. He's a great card. The key for Carmelo is making sure that you can effectively hide him on the defensive end of the court and you're not requiring him to be your on-ball defender, because offensively, with how electric his release is and how great of a shooter, as well as slasher and playmaker he is, it's key to have him somebody who can take the pressure off of him defensively. But if you can do that, he's legitimately a top 5 small forward, and he is that good of a card in my team. At number 4, this guy's grown on me again. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. I was a little bit lower on Giannis than a lot of people, and I still might be a little bit. I think some people would have him as a top 2 small forward in my team, but for me, he's just not quite there. But I definitely have kind of decided I like this card more again as of late. But Hoff Bully, Posterizer, Clamp Breaker, Quick First Step, Anchor, Clamps, Menace, and Post Lockdown. That's a lot of really good Hoff badges there. He can get Catch and Shoot, Claymore, Blinders if you want, or Guard Up, Slippery Off Ball. Really good playmaking and defensive badges already. You can upgrade his pick Dodge, Rebound Chaser, and Ankle Braces, leaving Silver Brick Wall as his only badge under Silver or Silver or below at that position. Gold Limitless Takeoff as well. Incredible speed. Really good all-around defender. Great dunker. The one thing that does frustrate me with this card is even with shooting badges and stats upgraded, his jumper is just very mediocre, which is his biggest flaw. Even though he actually is a decent shot creator as well, he's even got the normal leaner, but his standing jumper is not great. He steps in from corners, which is annoying, but he's so good as a defender, a slasher, and a versatile player that I think it still is worth running him, and he is a top 4 small forward in my team. So number 3, this card is similar to Carmelo in a lot of ways, but I think he's a better version of Carmelo, and that's Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes, the evolved version of this card, is absolutely freaking nasty. He is so elite. 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan, isn't insane size, 88 speed and excel, nothing too crazy there, 89 shot 3, 95 driving dunk, though is really good. Solid all-around defensive stats. He's got Hoff Limitless Takeoff, Posterizer, and Fast Twitch, which to me I'm kind of surprised Harrison Barnes has that good of slashing ability, but I'm not going to complain. No limitless range, but I don't really care. He's a solid playmaker. You can upgrade his Quick First Step. He already has Silver Clamp Breaker, Handles for Days, Gold Bailout, and Break Starter. Can add Unpluckable Vice Grip if you want. Hoff Clamps, Hoff Off-Ball Pest, Hoff Pogo Stick, a bunch of good gold defensive badges as well. And then you couple that with one of my favorite releases in the entire game. I will say this feels, to me personally, when I was using this card, the most consistently fast release, where it is super fast but also incredibly consistent to green, that I've used this year. His release is absolutely incredible. I mean, I love his release. Like, I can't tell you how much I love his release. And he's a more competitive defender than a guy like Carmelo. Not going to be quite as much of a shot creator as Carmelo, but his ability to compete on the defensive end is much better with Hoff Clamps, all these gold defensive badges, better all-around defensive stats. So I think he's the better all-around card than Carmelo, and I do prefer his release to Carmelo's, to be completely honest as well. Harrison Barnes, never thought he'd be a top 3 small forward in my team, but he is. I love that card. At number 2, going with LeBron James. LeBron, there's just something about Bron cards every year, and then this year they also decided to give him a player build, or not just a player build, but a release that is so much better this year. He's incredibly fast. He's a really good shooter, obviously a dominant slasher, and then also a really good all-around defender. Hoff Chase Down and Interceptor, Gold Anchor, Clamps, every other gold badge you could ask for. Hoff Clamp Breaker, Quick First Step, finishing badges. He's got gold limitless range. Release is much better this year than it's been in previous years. He doesn't move incredibly well, but his dribble style is actually pretty decent, and he's obviously an incredible slasher, incredibly quick. LeBron is so good on both ends of the court. Dominant slasher, defender, but also an elite shooter this year. I think he's the second best all-around small forward in my team. He comes in at number 2 for me. But then number 1, no surprise, it's Tim Thomas. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. I still think he's the best card in the game. He's been out for, 2 months at this point from when I'm recording this, and it still doesn't matter. He's the best card in the game. 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan is incredible size, 93 speed and excel, 95 shot 3, 90 driving dunk, 86 interior, 90 lateral, 90 steal. Hoff badges are really good. Amazing shooting and playmaking Hoffs. He's got gold limitless range, gold handles for days, a ton of really good gold defensive badges as well. Silver Interceptor, Glove, Bronze Anchor, a gold limitless takeoff, and Posterizer. But then the animations are what elevate the card. LaMelo base on quick with the tray upper, MJ dribble style, Steve Francis sides. He is just so elite all the way around. Normal leaner with Hoff H and 3's gold limitless range is so nice. He is still the best card in the game because he can create at a super high level. He's an elite defender. He's got amazing size for a small forward, amazing dunk animations even with front clutches. Like, there's nothing that Tim Thomas can't do on the court, and he is still the best small forward in my team, in my personal opinion. So this is my list of the top 10 small forwards in my team right now. Let me know what you think of my list down in the comment section down below, who I may be ranked too high or too low or left off the list entirely that you'd like to hear my thoughts on. But that is going to do it for the video. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.